Hi everyone, I'm Ken from Crypto Trading KS and the inventor of the CTKS method and BORSOG trading. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin is up 1.95% to 24,406. Ethereum is up 4.06% to 1958. Please take a note of DAI, the stablecoin. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that in today's video. Opportunities literally reset every minute in the crypto market. That's why we look through these crypto sectors. We're looking for BORSOG opportunities. BORSOG comes from Rule 621, buy on red, sell on green, but there's much more to it. BORSOG trading is a market synchronization trading technique. It's all about getting into synchronization with the crypto market. It's a very, very valuable skill to have. When you're in synchronization, you then scale, but not before. The easiest way to think about it, you seek to synchronize in with the market. When you're synchronized, you scale, but you will always find a point where you desynchronize, so you descale, and you're going around and around in this circle. But you're doing so in a very specific way. You start with just little small position sizes and then scale up. And as I said before, it comes from CTKS Rule 621. Buy on red, that's the BOR. Sell on green, that's the SOG. BORSOG. Let's contextualize things a little bit. What we saw in the last trading session, prices were coming up, and then they started to come down, and they started to come down pretty hard. And this was the period that I was BORSOGing in. We've seen prices recover a little bit. I just want to share a BORSOG trade with you that was made over that period in the last 24 hours. You can see this is Bitcoin's price action in the blue line. So Bitcoin was coming down just as exactly as I showed you. And this is the trading history. On these particular lines, I put $100 in. We always just do coffee money. For example, you can use $10, you can use $1, you can use whatever you want, because it's all about synchronizing in with the market. And then I set a sell level for all of these buys just up here, and I was lucky enough to catch that ping up. But there's a lot more to it. It really wasn't that much luck. There's an actual methodology that we apply to BORSOG trading, and that's available in the masterclass. You can see what I basically did. I took $600 and turned it into $700 in less than 24 hours, which was a 17.45% increase. And one thing that I like to do is look at the annualized return on investment. If that's a large number, I'm pretty happy with that trade. And it can be smaller as well, so don't worry about that. You have to look at it this way. You control the trade or investment, but the market controls the return. Crypto is so incredibly volatile. You can have a really red market one day and a green market the next, or the green market in 4 hours' time. And BORSOG is all about coffee money trades. You just want to see how the market is reacting, and you put skin in the game. That's really, really important to do. Paper trading is just, I believe, a waste of time. After more than 30 years in financial markets, I believe paper trading just doesn't work. Because literally, there's no emotional content in your trades or investments. If price dramatically falls when you're doing a paper trade, you say, yeah, so what? That doesn't matter. But if price increases, you say, oh, I wonder how high I can go. But in both cases, you really don't care. When you put money on the line, even $1, even $10, whatever it is, you pay a lot of attention. Even with small amounts of money, you'll go through this particular fear-based cycle, fear of missing out, and fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what I want to get you away from. I want to help you to move across to smart money thinking. Smart money thinking is not zone 1 and zone 2 thinking. That's completely different. Smart money thinking is zone 3 and zone 4. My focus each and every day, 7 days a week, is to just help you however I can to move you into zone 3 and zone 4. And of course, we need to stay there too. Recently, we started talking about BORSOG ANF charts, and this is the concept of how price can move around the current price. If it goes for you, goes against you, or goes nowhere, you must think these three-dimensional thoughts all the time because crypto is so incredibly volatile. It can rally up and it can rally down just as easily, and we make volatility our best friends and we control our fear. And what we actually see here is price maintaining this support line. That's really positive news, but we have to contextualize this in terms of what the markets are doing as well. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as links to the Crypto Trading KS Masterclass. There's also a Crypto Trading KS partial scholarship available. Also, the tax software I use. It's really important to track your trades, and you can always directly message me on Twitter at any time. And there's a lot of really good sources in here as well. I suggest you check them out. Crypto Technical Analysts use the CTKS creed for priming our mind for profitability. We know that opportunities reset literally in crypto by the minute, and we have to be aware of all three dimensions where price can go. So what we have is a series of affirmations that we tell ourselves each and every day. It's really important to keep on repeating these things. I know the universe wants me to succeed. Every day I show kindness, integrity, and gratitude. I know opportunities in life reset daily. I am worthy. I go slow to go fast. I start small and scale with BORSOG. Life pullbacks give me the strength for the next life rally. I am dedicated and committed. I win or learn and never blame. There are some members of our beloved global family that are going through really tough times, and I just want you to know that our love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. The sun will come out again, and there's always hope. And no matter what, keep on fighting. Life is hard, but keep fighting. It does get better. That means don't fight with each other. Show love and compassion and kindness, and fight for a better you, and fight for a better world. Learning how to BORSOG requires all the information inside the Crypto Trading KS Masterclass. You need to know how to mark up your charts with the CTKS method, how to analyze external trends, collect probabilities, just like a really good detective, and then we come back inside the crypto market, finding the market's focus, understanding opportunities reset daily, and enhancing your pattern recognition. Really important. But before you buy or sell, you are a professional, and professionals are not emotional. If your emotions govern your trades or investments, you will lose money. It's an absolute certainty, unfortunately. That's why mastery of emotional control comes before the trigger section, where you learn so many different ways to buy and sell. And we're always thinking, first and foremost, what if we put in money? Because we know we control the trade and investment, but the market controls the return. So think about first, when you're putting your BORSOG trades in, just make it small. Make it small as you can. What happens if price goes against you? What will you do? What if price goes nowhere? What will you do? And if it goes for you, what will you do? It's kind of like a traffic light. The ANF, against, nowhere, and for. Every time you look at a traffic light, think BORSOG ANF. Looking on the daily basis of Bitcoin is still maintaining its upward line. This is why we always think about what can happen if price goes for, against, or nowhere. And what we see is price still marching up. In the background, this is the NASDAQ 100. We can see the NASDAQ 100 just bolting up. What's actually occurring here is Rule 225, and there's so many rules inside the masterclass, and I'm always releasing more as the market makes them relevant. You'll find every single rule that I have is like a diamond. It's multidimensional and it has many faces. Bitcoin cannot escape the stock market's gravity. That may seem like it only has one face, but believe me, it's multidimensional as well. What did we see in the markets in the last trading session? The VIX continued to come down. The VIX is very, very overextended, and you can see that from the RSI. It's way, way down. We would expect a spike, but trying to time the stock market is a lot like trying to watch grass grow. It can take a really long time, but the probabilities are still mounting that we're going to get a spike up. Now, what does that mean? What happens when we get a big spike up? This is Bitcoin's price action in blue. You can see it underneath every single chart. I'm so happy to watch other influencers now overlaying their charts. When I first entered into the YouTube space over a year ago, nobody was doing this. They were just saying, oh, you know, Bitcoin does this and this and this and this, but they never showed anyone. I'm so happy to see people do it now. It's probably my background in mathematics. I like to be really, really precise. We can see the economic confidence just on a whirlwind up, and the Nasdaq 100 has overcome its resistance. But we also know the VIX is very, very suppressed at the moment. When it gets so suppressed, we've not seen levels of suppression this low for quite a long time. We would expect a spike up, so just be aware of that. That's why, whatever you do, always have your ANF strategy there and ready to action, and you must action it. Don't worry about what the news is saying, just go from price reality. And what do we see with bond prices? They're coming down. Of course they're coming down. Why are they coming down? Why you say of course, Ken? Because people are putting their money out of bonds into the stock market. Well, can't they put their money into cash? Well, let's look at the DXY. We've got a little bit of an uptick there, but they're mainly putting it into the stock market. That's why we're looking at all of these charts, and you'll get my live chart and a deep explanation of these particular charts in TM6 inside the masterclass. Let's have a look at gold. So gold is a proxy for geopolitical risk. We can see gold seeking to get through all of this resistance. Not doing a bad job. Good on you, gold. And what about the US dollar currency index, the DXY? It staged a bit of an upsurge after selling off wildly. And what about bond yields? We know that yields and bond prices move inversely. And I go into a lot of depth inside the masterclass about bond prices and bond yields. These are things that you need to understand. And you just thought it was about your beloved crypto. Oh no, there's so much more to it if you want to be professional. And what have we seen with oil prices? Oil prices are starting to bottom out at the moment. Keep your eye on oil. I think it may shock a lot of people. And let's have a look at junk bonds. Junk bonds are a very risk-on investment. And you can see the risk-on investment hypothesis is playing out really, really well. Junk bonds are very, very good to predict what could happen to major indices. And of course, we know the directional bias of what the main markets do is reflected in Bitcoin's price action. So it's really good to look at. Let's have a look at the major indices and where they're at right now. We can see the Nasdaq 100 is 1.56% away from its support line. It got through resistance, came back and resumed up. That's good. And what do we see with the S&P 500? It's still, hang on a second, naughty S&P 500. It's about 2% away from its resistance line. And how about the Dow Jones? It's 0.6% away from its support line. So we can see the Nasdaq, the Dow, and of course the Russell 2000. The Russell 2000's done really well. It's about 5% away from its support line. So the only thing under resistance is the S&P 500. Unfortunately, the S&P 500 is a powerhouse inside the markets. Masterclass students, you'll get this chart in TR23. When looking at the precious metals, we can see the inverted VIX just coming up. This can give us a really good indication as to where metals could go. And of course, the inverse DXY is also really, really powerful. We can see platinum and palladium outshining gold and silver. Copper is also on the way up, and Bitcoin is also following. And a lot of people say, well, gold and Bitcoin move in opposite directions. Well, not so. You can see it quite clearly here. Always be on guard for very simplistic explanations. They are often wrong. When comparing Bitcoin to inflation expectations, we can see the Nasdaq has rallied up, Bitcoin has rallied up, the 10-year and the 5-year break-even inflation rate have come down, and they've been coming down for quite some period of time. This is really good. This sends a signal to the Fed that they've got things under control to a degree, but we have to be aware of what that actually means. We can see that we got a new reading on the Fed balance sheet, also a new reading on the CPI. It's gone flat for the first time. Annual inflation was 9.1, it's now 8.5. We still haven't got readings on M2 and M1. Masterclass students, you'll get this live chart in TM4, and there's so many charts that I never share in public because it requires deep understanding, but they are inside the masterclass. There was a new reading that came out in the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Survey, and it was actually quite good. We had a beating of expectations. Consumer sentiment was more positive than expected. Consumer sentiment is a leading forward indicator of how the economy may actually progress. And you can see consumer sentiment at the present time, over the last couple of months, has been incredibly negative, very, very negative compared to past data points such as the GFC crisis. We actually are more negative right now than we were at the bottom of the GFC. And we can see with the VIX overextended that borsogging is a very, very good idea to do right now. We can see expectations of a 75 basis point increase in the federal funds rate have been falling. They're currently 42.5%. A day ago, it was 43. 1 week ago, it was 68%. So we've seen this fall down. And of course, as this falls down, this one, the 50 basis point increase probabilities come up. They're currently 57.5%. They were 57 yesterday. And before the CPI print, well, basically on the day of the CPI print, they were 32%. We've recently seen gold rampaging up. That's always due to a number of different reasons, but one of the things that absolutely spiked gold up was the potential invasion of Taiwan by China. As a trading community, we're absolutely neutral when it comes to politics or anything like that. What we actually look at is the source data. When you have warfare in a particular region, all the air traffic clears out of that region. We can see right now, and this is live, we have air traffic over Taiwan and the parts of China that would be affected by war. If we look at Ukraine, it's a completely different picture. You can see the skies are empty. Ukraine is a land war. The Taiwanese war, if it came, would be a sea war, a sea and air war. You can see all these ships, all of this ocean traffic, it's not cleared out. That is very positive. We'll keep looking at all of these maps because we need to go independent of the news. The news is very sensationalistic, but we're not. We just look at the facts like a good statistician. These are warship maps, and you can see warships around Taiwan and around Hong Kong, Shanghai, and just across the straits, across the Taiwan Straits. But it's nothing too abnormal. It's pretty much standard stuff. For example, if we started to see all these ships in Shanghai starting to come down the coast and all the ships around Hong Kong starting to come up, well, that'd be a different situation. For example, Hong Kong is just here, but if we just drill in here, we can see the concentration of warships just around here. If they start to make their way down and start to come around towards Taiwan, well, that's a very, very different situation. We keep our eye on the facts. We can actually buy crypto gold with PAXG. How cool is that? And when you're looking at the heat map, PAXG is a real asset. It's just down here in this lower right-hand corner. Rule 45, no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. This is a multifaceted diamond rule. what currently is happening to Bitcoin's gravity? Well, we can see we were getting a sell-off. Now we're actually romping up. And what's happening with the longs and the shorts? The longs have been coming out of the market. They're getting a bit scared, actually. The shorts have been coming into the market, and they're just edging up now. And you might say, Ken, what are these shaded lines here? What's all that? What's all that about? They're weekends, so we can just see that we've entered weekend trading. The weekends can be a little bit volatile because of lower trading volume. When we borsog at spot. We don't use leverage, any form of going short. We don't do that. We don't borrow money. Let's have a look at liquidations across the past 24 hours. There's been 176.44 million across 44,398 positions. And when looking at the past 24 hours on total liquidations, about 62% has been short. What about the past 12 hours? About, say, 73% short. What about the past 4 hours? A little bit less, say 65% short. And what about the past hour? Nearly 82% short. Oh, the shorts are just getting crushed by the longs at the moment. Poor old shorts. And what do we see here? Upward price momentum. So when we look at the past trading day, more shorts were liquidated than longs. And going back to the day before it, it was the other way around. The shorts are always liquidating the longs, and the longs are always liquidating the shorts. We currently have 20,556 cryptos, and global crypto market cap increased 2.11% over the past trading day, up to 1.17 trillion. The greatest gainers in the past 24 hours, Flux up 27.17%, Harmony One 19.87% up, BAL 13.62% up, TEL 13% up, API 3 a little over 11% up, EWT nearly 10% up, and UMA 6.76% up. The greatest losers over the past 24 hours, Scale Network down 2.94%, Spell down a little over 2%, Casper 2% down, 1.79% down for Bitcoin Standard Hash Rate Token, and that's really quite an interesting project. Injective down about 1.7%, Zen down 1.64%, and Ocean down 1.37%. Zen is a privacy-related token. I'll just talk a little bit about that. The privacy aspect of various cryptos is really being challenged now, and you need to be aware of this. To gain an understanding of privacy cryptos, you can see Monero is a very, very highly market capitalized privacy crypto. ZEC is another one. Mina, Decred, Horizon, Zen, Secret, Keep, New Cipher. And if we go down a little lower, you can see Tornado Cash coming in here. The US Department of the Treasury has now put Tornado Cash on its sanction list. They say Tornado Cash has been used to launder more than $7 billion worth of virtual currencies since its creation in 2019. And one thing I always noticed, whenever there was a hack or whenever there were funds stolen, Torn would just spike. So Torn is a mixing service. Basically, it makes sure that it obfuscates, for privacy reasons, where money is going to and coming from. And what the Department of Treasury has said, virtual currency mixers that assist criminals are a threat to US national security. And the implications of those sanctions, that all property and interest in property of the entity above, Tornado Cash, that is in the United States or in the possession or control of a US person, is blocked and must be reported to the OFAC. This has actual ramifications for more than Tornado Cash. And the amazing thing here, Tornado Cash is actually a decentralized, non-custodial privacy solution built on Ethereum. It improves transaction privacy by breaking the on-chain link between the recipient and the destination addresses. And of course, the US Department of Treasury doesn't like that at all. So what did it do? It actually sanctioned all of these addresses and it froze them. Now, what is the potential implication of this? The DAI stablecoin, and this is important to understand, that MakerDAO or Maker and its DAI stablecoin is currently backed 60% by USDC. And what's happened is the Tornado Cash wallets are part of that freeze. They're actually saying, Rune Christensen, the co-founder of MakerDAO, is saying that they believe the DAI stablecoin will depeg, and you remember what happened to Luna and UST. And the developer of Tornado Cash was actually arrested in the Netherlands. The fact that a US sanction actually occurred and law enforcement in Amsterdam actually arrested this 29-year-old man that was related to Tornado Cash should put us all on alert as far as our understanding of the safety and security of privacy-related cryptos. The sky is not falling right now, but the concept is we need to keep our eyes on these particular cryptos. Of course, the crypto sector believes intensely in privacy, but the government believes intensely on knowing what everybody does. Just bear these things in mind. If we were having these kind of discussions when Luna and UST were happening, maybe it took quite a time for things to play out, but we're better off forewarned and able to take some degree of action. I'll leave this URL link in the description of this video because it's something that you need to actually have a look at. I can say personally, I love some of these privacy cryptos to trade them, but the concept is we must be aware of what law enforcement will do. As crypto becomes more and more mainstream, privacy cryptos will get of attention and pushback, so we need to be aware of that. Let's have a look at the top 8 cryptos. We can see Bitcoin. We know what Bitcoin's doing because we've had a bit of a look through that. The interesting thing, if Bitcoin clears this resistance, the push towards 29,500 is not too difficult, so we need to keep that in mind. But of course, if the VIX spikes up, we may see a reversal. A lot of retail are getting really excited about what's happening inside crypto. As professionals, we're just moderately guarded. We just look at the price action and we say, well, this is potentially quite positive, but we also consider if it goes down. And why do we do that? I'll just show you what the power is of a negative percentage. We always talk about being on the right side of the percentage. Let's have a look at Binance Coin. Binance Coin, just around the 9th of May, just literally tanked down 40.46%, but it was up 67.51% just 11 days later. Just think about these percentages. I make it easy with the 10-5-10 rule. For example, if you have bought something at $10, it reduces to $5. That's a 50% decrease. But if it goes from $5 back up to $10, that's a 100% increase. If you get on the right side of the percentage, you can do very well. And that's what BORSOG is all about. And what about this potential price movement that actually happened from the 25th of May down to around the 18th of June? We saw a 45.73% decrease, but now prices have actually come up over 82%. If you get on the right side of the percentage and you have the emotional strength to hold through, you're going to do really well. That's why I developed BORSOG trading, to help people to get on the right side of the percentage, just with small amounts, and learn how to control their emotional state. It's really important. Let's have a look at some gravity. What we can see is Bitcoin's gravity is playing out on Ethereum, but Ethereum is becoming stronger. This is why we love the alts anyway. The concept is that Bitcoin moves really slowly, but it's the mainstay of the crypto market. But the others can move very rapidly. They can move very rapidly down and very rapidly up. And it can be a bit of a nightmare emotionally. And that's why BORSOG trading, if you can do any kind of trading at all, just take a very small percentage. If you're a 100% investor, the times ahead may not be the best for you. The time for trading is now, and if you can just take a small percentage of your investment portfolio, say 5 or 10%, doesn't need to be great, and just start to BORSOG, you will do really, really well, and you'll be able to buy and sell more effectively also. Looking at XRP, XRP is an alignment with Bitcoin's gravity. It was under, it's being aligned. Please let me know in the comments what could potentially come next. ADA, Cardano, under and now aligned. What could come next for ADA? Look at Solana, under, coming back into alignment. What could come next for Solana? As a community, we always engage in active learning. It's worth a fortune to you if you actually start to question your own knowledge. Start to say, oh, what does that mean? Oh, I see it over here and I see it over there, and now you can act on it. That's what you need to be able to do, because crypto is so fast. And looking at Doge, Doge was weaker and now aligned. DOT weaker and now aligning. Please let me know in the comments, what do you think comes next? I talk a lot about emotional control because it's absolutely and utterly critical. Rule 774, master yourself to master the market. A lot of people think when they're new into investing and trading, they just need the best indicator, and all indicators fight with each other, and they just need a buy or sell level, and those can get moved around too. Actually, what you need first is emotional mastery, because if you don't master your emotions, the emotions will push you into losses. How we become probabilistically fearless as a community, as a global family, is engage in positive excellence and maintaining real wealth foundations. These little green boxes are incredibly valuable, and they'll give you a magnificent life, and you deserve that. Let's have a look at the community comments, and I just want to say a quick thank you to Badger for your kind generosity. Thank you, my friend. In yesterday's episode, we talked a little bit about blame, preventing progress. That's why in the CTKS Creed, we say that we win or learn and never blame. But John had a few good things to say about blame. Blame prevents learning. Behavioral change becomes impossible, and any illusion of success based on luck and lack of integrity will be short-lived. Very good, John. And Beardy, if you're looking for someone to blame, you'll always find someone. Oh, how lucky. But the best person to point the finger at is yourself, to take control of your destiny. Absolutely, Beardy, that's awesome. And the really important thing, by abandoning blame, you enter or you exit zone 2 and you get into zone 3, which is all about learning and courage, patience and rules. That's where you make money. Blame is where you lose money and relationships and happiness. And Nenad shared a personal story, which was really very nice of you, Nenad. Nenad said, I tended to be highly competitive and blame myself every time I didn't win. I was always harsh to myself, but I have been working on not blaming myself, accepting things how they are, and looking for a positive in every situation. You champion. There were so many fantastic comments. I'd just like to thank everybody that took the time. You're just awesome people. And Brett was saying, kindness and decency and integrity. Kindness, decency and integrity are the cornerstones of positive excellence. Very beautiful and so very true. Brett also said, learning is tough, and that's why we choose to blame. It's easier not to take responsibility for our own actions. And if you see little kids, they are experts and gurus at that. If you say to a little kid, why did you do that? They'll say, I didn't do it. I didn't do it. They did it. And you know they didn't. They did it. When you're in the crypto market and financial markets, you can't blame because you can't learn. It's really, really important to just find your own way. Just treat it as I either win or I learn. And that's the way to go, because the market will reward your knowledge. Brett says something else here, which is incredibly important. There is no cheat sheet in crypto, only learning. Blame is a distraction, a poisonous, insidious distraction. And it's a life destroyer as well. Thanks so much, Brett. The key thing that Brett said there is no cheat sheet in crypto. In Zone 1 and Zone 2, People are sold on indicators and different things, systems that work. Every market system that works will not work at some stage, and indicators always fight with each other. So what you need to do is to continuously synchronize in with the market. That's why I developed BORSOG trading. It's the only market synchronization technique that doesn't hurt you, and it's not like paper trading. Paper trading will not take you anywhere. It's just a pointless waste of time. And to BORSOG means that you're always progressing because you never blame, you just win or learn. And when you look at the markets, when you make a loss, it's never personal. And it can also be very time dependent. For example, if we look at Ravencoin, there was a loss here in Ravencoin that was quickly recovered, and you know how the 10-5-10 rule works. There was a loss and it was recovered, a loss and it was recovered, a loss, recovered, a loss, recovered. So you can actually zoom out a little bit and think about, is this a loss or is this going to be recoverable? And please let me know, price is moving in a wave here. What rule is that? Let's have a look at some more community favorites. Ravencoin is doing really well. Notice this resistance here, playing up at around 29.90. As soon as Ravencoin got above that resistance, see how it shot up to just below this next level of resistance, playing out at around 44.35. What do we see here with KDA? KDA has done really well. There's still some resistance in this block from 3287 down to 2340. So just bear that in mind. But when it gets above that, it's going to go, literally going to go for the $5 mark. Remember your ANF. Just because it looks good doesn't mean the market will support it. There's been so many times in the crypto market where technically everything looks great, and then the VIX does a spike up and just wrecks everybody's trades. Just be aware of that. Always have your ANF strategy playing out at every time. Know what you will do. And look at Decentraland. Decentraland, this big sell-off was recovered very quickly. That shows the inherent strength of Decentraland, which is mana. And you can see that strength played down really well. Look how Bitcoin sold down, found a bottom, but mana found a bottom much earlier. These bottoms are very good to find, and no naughty jokes, Beardy. You gotta love Beardy. Okay, Unified is doing really well, and you can see when Bitcoin came down, started to collapse down, Unfi just went, no, I'm not having any of that. I'm going to move in the opposite direction. Don't forget that these cryptos tend to synchronize and desynchronize and synchronize. That's why you're borsogging all over the place, because it's a very valuable thing to do. And have a look at waves. If that's not a big wave, I don't know what is. Wow, that's quite a wave. And price moving in waves related to Bitcoin's gravity. Remember, about 1% of cryptos will act inversely, and they're not always the same crypto as well. That's a bit of a gem for you to understand. What you can see, as Bitcoin was selling off, TWT, Trust Wallet, decided to romp up. Now, this often happens that it will romp up and not invert. When Bitcoin comes down, you might find Trust Wallet also coming down. So remember, it's synchronization, desynchronization all the time. Keep your eye on it. That's why you want to borsog continuously in any market condition. Just keep your eye on the synchronization. When you're synchronizing and you're doing it really well, you can scale up. Having a look at SAND, following Bitcoin's gravity, and we can notice the sell-off here, spike down. Look at the difference between SAND and mana, which are in the same sector. Pay attention to sectors as well. That's important. And notice the directional movement of these crypto, or of Bitcoin with SAND. You can see it's following. And this is what you need to keep your eye open for. Any divergences from Bitcoin's gravity, pay attention to them. If it's positive or negative, always pay attention to it. And having a look at NIR. NIR is consolidating. So for example, it was under power of strength, and then it coincided. It became synchronistic. Now it's going out of synchronicity to the upside. That could be something worthwhile to look at. But always have your A&F strategy. Free Dentists had something really, really good to share. Probably the be kind attitude is a good place to start for most people. It helped me get a much more positive view in life. I actually enjoy life even more than ever before. That's beautiful. Getting close enough to your own perfection is the way to go. Don't start to blame or complain. There's no need to become a world champion. Just try to do your best. That's so beautiful, and it's so true. You don't need to be a world champion. You don't need to be the best at anything. Just be you, and be a kind and decent you, and people will love you for that. Just be yourself, but always be kind. Always subscribe to positive excellence. I thought it would be really good to talk about forgiveness. Forgiveness creates profit, and it creates profit in your personal life as well as inside the market. For example, say something really, really bad happened. A lot of people hold on to bad things, and they can hold on to bad things forever. If we hold on to something bad, and that's a human thing to do, it will just poison us. It poisons our happiness in the present moment, and those present moments of a loss of happiness will accumulate into anxiety, potentially depression as well. Forgiveness is a critical thing to do, and it's not about anybody else. Forgiveness is a solitary act. For example, a lot of people will never forgive another party for breaking up with them, for example, or getting divorced. This is very, very common. But the concept is it's always a break up and not a breakdown. That breakup is just to allow both parties to find the right people for them. Just think about it like that. I always like to put things back to a personal level because I think it makes it more understandable. Forgiveness in the market is when you don't sell the peak and you don't buy the bottom. And professionals don't even care about such things. So why should you? Just get into synchronization with the market and get your rate of return that you feel the market will give you. Please let me know your experiences with forgiveness. I think it's a really beautiful thing to talk about, and it's a wonderful thing to share. And I appreciate everybody's comments and suggestions and all the wisdom that goes into the comments each and every day. And there's so many technically brilliant comments in there as well. I'm talking about the technicals of the market. Please, if you haven't read the comments, please do so. It's fantastic. If you'd like to learn how to BORSOG, please come across to the links in the description of this video, and you can also seek out an ambassador who can provide a special coupon that can give you 80% off, but always go through the links in the description, nowhere else. And if you pop across to the testimonials page, you'll see why I created the masterclass. It's all about knowledge transfer, and you can just read through some testimonials. This can help explain how different people found the masterclass, and there's quite a bit of reading in here, as you will see. There's a lot of people who have commentated on the masterclass. And as Cheryl said, BORSOG is very hard, but the masterclass is the key. Thanks, Cheryl. And also, thank you, Steve, for your very kind comment. I hope everyone manages to go through the masterclass. It is a life-changing experience. Thank you, my friend. Thanks so much for tuning in. I love sharing this time together. Please consider sharing and liking this video, and also subscribing to the channel. We would love to have you as a part of our globally extended KS family. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, and to the CTKS ambassadors for assisting masterclass students. And of course, a very big thank you to you for watching and for being part of our global family. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the tax software I use, and also links to the Crypto Trading KS Masterclass. If you're going through financial hardship, there's a link in the description that you can apply for the partial scholarship. There are also links in the description that you can reach out to an ambassador to get 80% off. Please remember, crypto is volatile. always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Have a great weekend. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.